is Strategic Coordinator from the Western Cape Department of Transport. Hector, good to talk to you.
Hi, Xolani.
Are you well?
Yeah, I'm well. How are you?
I'm very well. Listen, firstly, I want to gauge your sense of how people are reacting as the Department of Transport in the Western Cape to the first KISS advert. What is your sense of the reaction of the people there?
Very positive, but you know we very thoroughly examined the evidence before we made any decisions about creating this ad in the first place, and I think that really is something I want to talk about. You know, yesterday we had Jonathan Cherry from CherryFlava Media on both 702 and Cape Talk, and he really lambasted the first KISS TV ad. On two grounds. I think the first one was about how, you know, it shouldn't be that it was window dressing, I think was the expression he used. It was just being done ahead of Easter as a way of making the MEC look good or something like that, and that it should be part of a sustained year-round campaign. And then the other criticism was about impact and you know, this concept, the idea that things that work overseas don't work in South Africa because of that we're a unique society or something along those lines.
Yeah, no, you're right.
So on the first point, Safely Home is the road safety campaign platform of the Western Cape government, and we've adopted a year-round sustained road safety strategy as of August 2014, and it's based on monthly themes, okay? Because road safety is a very complex and broad subject, and we need to tackle the real issues and do so, you know, continuously through the course of the year. So just to contextualize First KISS, that TV ad that Jonathan was referring to is actually part of a theme called Be the Change, which is about personal responsibility, and that theme runs in March and April, which just happens to be when Easter occurs. Now, obviously, yes, there's a strategic element to timing the announcement of the Easter operational plan to the announcement of that TV ad, but that's to do with the increased media interest around Easter rather than that the ad itself is linked in some way to Easter, because it isn't. It's part of the broader year-round strategy. So that's the one thing. The other thing, is Jonathan's suggestion that this kind of, the thing is, this ad was based on a Northern Irish ad. We used that. We reproduced a Northern Irish ad called Damage. And what Jonathan was suggesting was that, this is a very simplistic approach that won't work in South Africa because we're a unique society. We have a wide demographic range, and because we've got this history of violence. And it was just ironic that he was talking about Northern Ireland in that context, because, of course, as you're talking, I'm thinking, well, that sounds like Northern Ireland too. But that's neither here nor there. Because what really matters is, first, look, every country thinks they're unique. Okay, everyone, and the truth is that no country is. There are principles that apply worldwide. But the thing that really matters is a local target audience, and that's our target audience here on the ground in the Western Cape, and what they think. So when we secured the funding to produce, for the first time, a high quality commercial, the obvious question was that, which one of our strategic focus areas are we going to address first? And those are, just to mention, that's alcohol, seatbelts, speed, cell phones, and pedestrians. So we've got a new annual attitudinal survey, which we started last year, and we used that as our vehicle to find out where we should go. And then, so over 2 weeks, we tested 30 local and international road safety ads, alongside the best creative concept that our agency came up with, which is that agency's Y&R. And so we tested them on 16 focus groups. Those were 16 segments of our priority target audience, representing the full demographic spectrum of the Western Cape, and that's across race and gender, LSM, and importantly, road user type. We did that at our research agency here in Newlands, Cape Town, and in parallel to that, we did a 1,000-person quantitative survey, and that's with the same audience across the province. And then I think most importantly, we did a follow-up telephone poll 1 week later, and where we asked people what did they remember about the ads they were shown, and of the ads they remembered, had it had an impact on their behavior. And this is where damage really started to stand out very, very strongly, particularly around reported behavior change. And that was across all demographics. So what we were seeing was, here was an ad that people were remembering. Our Western Cape priority audience and segments within that audience were remembering, and not only remembering, but it was affecting their behavior.
Okay.
So I was very well aware of this particular campaign, and I mean I can talk forever about the Irish example and how well they've done.
Sure, but because again the point is, and this is what we're trying to discuss yesterday, that why should it be a shocking advert? Do you get a sense that people respond much more if it is a shock tactic?
Yeah, no. Well, I mean that was very clear from the from the test that we did on the 16 focus groups and across the 1,000-person survey. And most particularly from those follow-up calls 1 week later, where what we're seeing is that people are responding the most powerful responses is to what are called shock tactics. I think that's a kind of irrelevant term really, because it's about powerful messaging. How you get the powerful messaging across it just happens that what's working in road safety tends to be so-called shock tactics. But most importantly is that reported behavior change.
Okay.
So that's what we took. I mean, we also surveyed comprehension of the actual ad, and impact of the actual ad, which we did once the ad was made, and that we surveyed obviously that right here in the Western Cape as well. And again, the ad came through as flying colours.
All right. So in other words, you're saying that whatever you've done around this ad is all scientific. There is scientific basis for you to put out this advert. Yeah,
I mean, it's entirely based on specific marketing theory and practice. Yeah. We found an example that resonated very, very strongly with our target audience. We've tested it in multiple different ways, and it's come out, as a really powerful piece of communication.
All right, Hector, I'll again open up the lines and get a sense from our listeners. You saying that it is science-based, it's according to advertising principles, but of course, as you say, Jonathan Cherry yesterday was suggesting that he thinks it won't have any effect at all. So what do people then who are the target audience, because we all are the target audience, what do they think? 011-883-0702.